So, again, thank you everyone for coming for this Sunday program. And today, I've been requested to give a talk by Ramai Prabhu. So, I've chosen to speak about a little bit from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, which is Dhyana Yoga. But particularly, I am going to, the title of what I'm going to speak is like seeing the super soul. How can you see the super soul? Okay, because it's Dhyana Yoga. It talks in Bhagavad Gita self-realization for the yogi. It talks about yoga most of the time, Ashtanga yoga and different types of yoga. So yeah. So we'll speak from Bhagavad Gita. It's related to chapter 6. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So those were, for the first time, it was talking about Krishna consciousness. Have you heard of Krishna consciousness? Do you have any idea what does it mean, Krishna consciousness? Krishna is God, and to be conscious of God, that's God, Krishna consciousness. So I just go a bit about what is Krishna consciousness, because not everybody is like, some are, of course, devotees, they already know. But what does it mean to be Krishna conscious? Before we start going further. So in this chapter, it's talk about mainly about how you can perceive God everywhere. Do you have any idea? So in Krishna consciousness, we usually speak about what's a body, what is a soul, and what is a super soul, and what is nature, right? And what is the relationship of the soul with the super soul? Like super soul is Krishna, Krishna is God, Krishna is all attractive. Okay, so it attracts all the soul, and he is a super soul. So basically, so you have your body, and inside your body you have the soul. So the Krishna consciousness means to be always conscious of God. Okay? So God has innumerable, many names, and Krishna is one of the most, the Supreme Personality is God. His personal name. So that means he's all attractive. Okay? So it's chapter 6. So no particular verse, but let's see. So perception of the super soul, right? Can anybody say how can you perceive the super soul? It's quite a challenging question or very difficult one to answer, isn't it? Unless you have seen the soul, how can you see the super soul? When we are talking about super soul here, we are relating to Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the soul is like inside the body, the individual soul. So let's say we read from chapter 6, verse 28. And we will start with there. It's on Bhagavad Gita, page 336, most of them. Okay. It's a very small purport, so then I can talk a bit more. Hare Krishna. So, Yunjan evam sadatmanam.
Yunjan
Yogi Vidata Kalmasaha
Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsam
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham
Atyantam Sukham Asnute
Atyantam Sukham Ashnute
Yunjan Evam Sadhatmanam
Yujjam Evam Sadhatmanam
Yogi Vidata Kalmasaha
Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsam
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham
Atyantam Sukham Asnute
Atyantam Sukham Ashnute
Yunjan Evam Sadatmanam
Yujjam Evam Sadatmanam
Yogi Vidata Kalmasaha
Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsam
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham
Atyantam Sukham Asnute.
Atyantam Sukham Ashnute
Anybody?
Yunjam Evam Sadatmanam Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham Atyantam Sukham Ashnute
Yunjan Evam
Sadatmanam
Yogi Vigate Kalmasaha
Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha
Sukhena Brahma Samspasam
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham
Atyantam Sukham Asnate
Atyantam Sukham Ashnute
Ladies?
Yunjan evam sadatmanam
Yunjam Evam Sadatmanam
Yogi vigat kalmashaha
Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha
Sukhena brahma samparsam
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham
Atyantam sukham ashnute
Atyantam Sukham Ashnute
Yunjanevam sadatmanam
Yunjam Evam Sadatmanam
Yogi vigata kalmasha
Yogi Vigata Kalmashaha
Sukhena brahma sasparsham
Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham
Atyantam sukhamashnute
Atyantam Sukham Ashnute
So, word by word translation. Yunjan,
Yunjam
engaging in
Engaging
in yoga,
yoga
your practice.
practice
Evam,
Evam
thus,
Thus
sada,
Sada
always,
Always
Atmanam,
Atmanam
the self,
The Self
Yogi,
Yogi
one who is in touch with the Supreme Self,
One who is in touch with the Supreme Self
Vigata,
Vigata
freed from
Free from
Kalmasaha,
Kalmasha
all material contamination,
All material contamination
Sukhena,
Sukhena
in transcendental happiness,
In transcendental happiness
Brahma Samsparsam,
Brahma Samsparsham
being in constant touch with the Supreme,
Being in constant touch with the Supreme
Atyantam,
Atyantam
the highest,
The highest
Sukham,
Sukham
happiness,
Happiness
Ashnute,
Ashnate
attains.
Attains
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thus, the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Please repeat after me together. Thus, the self-controlled yogi,
Thus the self-controlled yogi
constantly engaged in yoga practice,
constantly engaged in yoga practice
becomes free from all material contamination
becomes free from all material contamination
and achieves
and achieves
the highest stage of perfect happiness
the highest stage of perfect happiness
in transcendental loving service to the Lord.
in transcendental loving service to the Lord.
The purport by Srila Prabhupada. Self-realization means knowing one's constitutional position in relationship to the Supreme. The individual soul is part and parcel of the Supreme, and his position is to render transcendental service to the Lord. This transcendental contact with the Supreme is called Brahma Samsparsa. Okay. Om Jnana Tirumandasya Jnanandana Salakayam Chaksuramritam Yena Tasma Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sadachatam Sahagana Raghunatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhavutam Pahijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Sacha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurambi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavamurusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vamcha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubhya Ekacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivastava Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yes, so I was saying that we taking into context with this verse from chapter 6, we are going to see how perception of the super soul. And in this book, it is clearly said that self-realization means knowing one's constitutional position with relationship to the Supreme. It already gives you a clue, an idea. So this is a bit what is Krishna consciousness is. So we are the soul and we are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, which is Krishna. And our position is to render transcendental loving service to the Lord. And this transcendental contact with the Supreme is called Brahma Samhita. That's called yoga. To link with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we go one verse, previous verse, we just read the translation. It says 6:27. You can see, the yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds. So, this is very interesting, because when we are in the material world, we are affected by the three modes of material nature. So, there are the mode of passion, there are mode of ignorance, and there are three modes of goodness. So, as long as we are in the jurisdiction of these three modes of material nature, it's very difficult to experience this bliss or this happiness which is being talked about, the transcendental happiness. But he says, one whose mind is fixed on me. When he says on me, he means Krishna. Krishna is speaking. On me, it means on Krishna, not anyone else. What happens to him? He attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. So this transcendental happiness is beyond this happiness which we can get in a mode of ignorance, in a mode of passion, in a mode of goodness. Okay? So this is transcendental to that. This is beyond that. And then he realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme. Then, when he is situated in that platform, then he realizes his identity. He's the soul. And he realizes his identity with the Supreme Soul, the Super Soul. And then, thus, he is freed from the reaction to past deeds. It's interesting. So, we have been, let's say, transmigrating. It's said in the Bhagavad Gita we have like 8,400,000 species of different species of life. So the human being, they are 400,000 species of life. So they have already gone the 8,400,000, 8 billion species. So we are already transmigrated in those 8 billion. So those are let's say, the lower species of life. There are so many species of life, okay? They are like aquatics, amphibians, those who live in the water, those who live on the earth, and there are so many animals, plants, trees, even the microbes, microorganisms, bacteria, virus. We are talking about the coronavirus, and all sorts of living entities. So the human being, they have transmigrated all of them. Or, let's say we have moved, we have like reached, we are all of the time we are moving upwards. So now we are in the top. So in the 400,000 species. So now, in this, when we realize this, when we come to this highest perfectional stage of transcendental happiness and bliss, so what happened? Even when we are in the human form of life, we are still in the material world. We are affected by the three modes of material nature. So anytime, if we remain within the jurisdiction of these material modes of nature, so we will be affected by them. So we will be imposed the miseries of this material nature, and we will not be able to get out. So as if we will be entangled to remain in this material world. And what's the danger of this, to remain in this material world? Like even if, like if you are a human being in your human form, so you will be born, and birth, old age, disease, and death. This is a cycle. You will undergo this cycle, and then you have to come back again, take birth again. But according to our past deeds, he says. So according to our past deeds means like you have to accumulate that amount of credit, that amount of pious deeds, so that you can get another body. Example is like if you want to buy a house or you rent a house, so you have to have enough money to buy that house. And you want to live always in a better house, in a palace. So you need to have that amount of, money, that amount of credit, so that you can purchase that house. So to be able to get this human form of life, so we must have had enough pious credit. You must have had enough credit in your bank account of Krishna consciousness, of God consciousness, that's a bank, so that you have been allocated this body in human form of life. This human form of life is very, very rare, it is said. And in this form of life, you can realize the soul and the super soul. In any other species of life, which is in the other 8 million, it's very difficult to realize that God and Supreme Personality of God. And why? Why we want to realize this? Why we should know God and all these things? Why do we think so?
Because we have a direct connection with that, and this is the only.
Yes, this is a chance. But why? You can just say, no, I don't want to. Because there is another chance that you will, this human form that you have been granted now, you lose it. You lose this opportunity. And that means that you can go back down in lower species. So who wants to be in lower species of life? We all want to go higher species. And what's the highest? Is? Yeah, in the material. But beyond that, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and he's talking about transcendental happiness. So where is it coming from, all this happiness and all this? This is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from Krishna. So he possesses everything and all in unlimited. We can't imagine everything. Everything's come from him. So he possesses everything, and everything is coming from him. So if you're really serious, if we have had learned our lesson that this body in this material world is not a very good place, a very not all the time you will be imposed these miseries, and of course after some times you will have to leave this body, but where will you go? You have to take another body. Yeah, this is what is Krishna consciousness. So after this body, you get another body. But that is also the chance of you not to be in this material world, and you have to transcend it so that you go in the spiritual world. So there are two. There is a material creation and there is spiritual. There is two things. So we living entities, we are in the marginal. We are in between, like the material and spiritual. So you can be either material or spiritual. Only these two. There is no other. Okay, you are marginal. What I mean by marginal is God has got some He got his energies. He's got internal energies. He's got his external energies. So whatever you see here is the energy of Krishna. So I was saying that we are going to speak about perception of the super soul. So how can we see super soul in Krishna everywhere? And why was it important? Because when we think about Krishna, we can there's a chance we can go to him. Okay? We have to qualify for that. And that's the goal. That's the goal of the human species of life, human being. That's the highest goal. That's what we should aim for. Right. So we can see Krishna. Can anybody see how we can see Krishna anywhere outside? Yeah, bro. How can we see God? Can we?
In every atom, sparkling.
Yeah, that's a good point, because he says he is in every atom as well. Yes. So how do you say yes, it's an atom? If you are a scientist, you can relate to chemistry, atomic, because there is an energy in the atom. An atom is a very simple thing to say, very small, but the energy in the atom is immense. Atomic bomb, how does it happen? Yeah, the scientists would know the structure of the atom, because protons, electrons, and if you move the electrons from its orbit, it takes a amount of energy. And that energy, that's how they create the atomic bomb and all those. So it's such, there is so much energy. And that energy coming from where? That energy is coming from Krishna. That's why he said, I am in every atom. But we tend to neglect that. Oh, it's an atom. It's a small particle. It's a cell is made of millions of atoms. A sand particle. But in that atom, there is so much of energy. And that energy is coming from Krishna.
Even they gave a name of that God element.
Yeah?
The name, even the scientists also gave the same name, God element.
Yeah. So, let's move ahead and see. So, when we read about this verse and saying that the self-controlled yogi constantly engaged in yoga practice become free from all material contamination, achieve the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. So here is the perfection. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me, Krishna is speaking, on him means Krishna. So that person is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Krishna, when it says, unto me, it means Krishna. So a true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. That makes sense? How we can see. So Krishna is everywhere. So when you see someone, the true yogi, he, with his vision, he sees that person, that he sees that Krishna is in him. He is also part and parcel of Krishna. Because Krishna, as a super soul, is seated in everyone's heart. So the true yogi, he can see that. So he can see Krishna. But we can't see because we are not realized that much. But there is a way also we can see. Right? Let's say if you see a tree outside. So a yogi, when he will see a tree, a Krishna conscious person, when he sees a tree, what does he see? He sees a tree. He says, this tree has got a material body. And then he said, I also have got a material body. This tree is living. It's a living entity. I am a living entity. He can see that. And he relates everything to Krishna. So how this tree is giving this energy? He's also being given this energy is coming from Krishna. I am also getting this energy from Krishna. But he can see that, but this tree, how unfortunate. He's got this body, he cannot move. And he understands that maybe because of his past deeds, he is a living entity, he's got a body, he's got a material body, he is living, but he cannot move. He understands that. So that's how a Krishna conscious person sees everything. And he can see, in this way he can see Krishna everywhere. Does it make sense? So what does a true yogi do then? So and sometimes a true yogi, a true yogi observes me in all beings. So how this is possible? Some people say that all beings are Krishna, and therefore there is no point in worshipping Krishna separately. Consequently, such people take to humanitarian activities claiming that such work is better. They say, why should Krishna be worshipped? Krishna says that one should see Krishna in every being. Therefore, let us serve the man in the street. Such misinterpreters do not know the proper techniques of serving Krishna in all beings, which have to be learned under a bona fide spiritual master. So there is another thing that I'm introducing now, is a spiritual master. Right? So we see. So why is a spiritual master now? We're talking about perception of the super soul. And now I've come to the point of the spiritual master. Right? So who is a spiritual master?
Who's a giver path to be gone.
Who gives you instructions, who gives you initiations, who guides you. Okay? But Krishna is also sitting in your heart. He's called Chaitya Guru, the super soul from inside. He guides you. He's inside. But sometimes you can see him outside. And when you see him outside, in what form? You see him outside in the form of the spiritual master, the true devotees, like Srila Prabhupada. So he is representing Krishna when he comes out, the spiritual master. So if you see a true advanced devotee, so you should see Krishna in him. But he's not Krishna, he says, but he is representing Krishna. So this is how you can see Krishna. You can perceive Krishna, perception of the super soul outside. Similarly, when you see an animal, when a devotee sees a dog or a cat, so a Krishna conscious devotee, when he sees a dog and cat, so what does he see? He knows the cat, for instance, is a living being, and due to his past deeds, he has received the body of a cat. Why? Why do we receive a body of an animal? It is due to our forgetfulness. So just remember when we say these things. We have to see Krishna outside. We came to this point of like spiritual master. Now we talk about the trees, nature and everything. So we talked about a bit of the energy of Krishna. And somebody mentioned atoms and all. So the energy of Krishna is everywhere. Everything that you see in the material world is energy of Krishna. It's coming from Krishna. So we'll go a bit further. So before I'll go a bit further, let me read about a little bit of the super soul, how it manifests, so that it will make a bit more sense. The super soul manifests outside to help us. One who is sincere and pure gets an opportunity to consult with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature, sitting in everyone's heart. The Paramatma is always the Chaitya Guru that is inside, the spiritual master within, and he comes before one externally as an instructor and the initiator. That means the spiritual master. The Lord can reside within the heart and also come out before a person and give him instructions. Thus, the spiritual master is not different from the super soul sitting within the heart. Why does the super soul need to manifest outside? Jive saksat nahi tane guru chaitya rupe saksat guru aya Krishna manata swarupe. Since one cannot visually experience the presence of the super soul, he appears before us as a liberated devotee. Such a spiritual master is none other than Krishna himself. So it is not possible for a conditioned soul to directly meet Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But if one becomes a sincere devotee and seriously engaged in devotional service, Lord Krishna sends an instructing spiritual master to show him favor and invoke his dormant propensity for serving the Supreme. The preceptor appears before the external senses of the fortunate. You see? Right? Does it make sense? This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 4.8.52. So this is also how we can perceive the super soul outside. It's amazing. So the spiritual master, he comes to show and to give him the favor to invoke in us our dormant propensity for serving the Supreme. So this is our nature. Our nature is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this service is called devotional service. Devotion. That's the only way. And because this is our nature, and if we do anything else, we will not be happy. Same example is, I can take a fish out of water. You can give him however much love, you can, take him anywhere, see this, see that, give him food. He will not be happy. He will only be happy when he is in water, isn't it? So, the soul, us, we are looking for happiness everywhere, but we are looking it in wrong places. We should, and we are doing so many service and so many things which we think that will bring us happiness. In fact, they are all bringing us, thank you very much, what we call action and reaction, karma. And for any action which you do, that is either a good or a bad karma. then those actions, they always bind us. They bind us in this material world. So we are tied and we stay here, as if you are caught in a net, and it's very difficult to get out of this. That's why he says, those people who are transcendental to these modes of material nature, they can see the true happiness. They always. So, there are lots of verses in this chapter, verse 627, 629, 630, 628, and you can read the translation and it will show you how you can perceive the super soul outside. So a person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance, he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is the manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is a basic principle of Krishna consciousness. This is what I was saying, Krishna consciousness in the beginning. So the basic principle of Krishna consciousness is this, that you can see everything. Everything is a manifestation of Krishna, and it's Krishna's energy. This is a basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Then the questions arise. How does the devotee know that everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy? You can ask, isn't it? So, what's the answer? First of all, a Krishna conscious person is a philosopher. Yes. Its example is, if he sees a tree, as I was talking before, he thinks, what is this tree? He then sees that the tree has a material body, just as he has a material body, and that the tree is also a living entity. He also sees that due to the living entity's past misdeeds, he has obtained such an abominable body that he cannot even move. The tree's body is material. It is material energy. And material energy is also Krishna's energy. Spiritual energy and material energy. Everything is Krishna. So, Krishna, the energy of Krishna is same as Krishna. Seeing Krishna in everything. That is called Krishna consciousness. But what we mean by Krishna, you see Krishna in everything. And that's how you can see the super soul everywhere. So, like even when you have, like Krishna Prasadam, after the program we will have Prasadam. What? So when you take this Prasadam, it enables one to come to Krishna consciousness. Is it true? Is it true? Yes. So later when you have this prasadam, this will also bring you to Krishna consciousness. Because this is called prasadam, because this food is been offered to Krishna with love and devotion, and he accepts it. And then when you take it, it's a remnant of Krishna. So it's when he takes it, it's non-different from Krishna. So then you become Krishna conscious. So just that by taking prasadam also, whatever is done in Krishna consciousness, knowingly or unknowingly, will have its effect. So even if today you are here, say, you're just listening, but you will get the benefit of it, even if you don't want it.
Now is the time to listen.
So it's amazing. Isn't it? Example is given like there is a fire, If a children, let's see, we come to that. If a child comes in the temple, sometimes he bow down, okay? He claps his hand. Later we will have the opportunity to hear a nice kirtan going on. So when you clap your hand, when you bow down in front of the devotees, when you hear this vibration of the Maha Mantra, it has its effect during the kirtan. Actually, when you do that, and you hear that, when you see that, you accumulate so much in your bank account of Krishna consciousness. I mentioned to it before, the bank. We have to have the credit to have this human form of life. So all of us, we must have had enough credit so that we are able to purchase. We have to have this human form of life. Very, very fortunate. It's very, very rare. So we should not lose this opportunity. Yes. We should be careful not to make the mistake of thinking that everyone is Krishna. Rather, we should see Krishna in everyone. Krishna is all-pervading. Why he is to be seen only by human beings? No. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita. He is present within the atom. That's true. You are very right. He is present within the atom. Yeah. And he says in the Brahma Samhita, Antantarastha paramamnu chayantra stham. So you are very right. You must be a yogi in your past life.
It's also in the empty spaces in between the atoms.
Yes. Good. So a true yogi, he observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. How does a yogi see every being in me? This is possible because a true yogi knows that everything that we see is Krishna. So, does it make sense? Everything is Krishna's energy. So you can see he is manifesting in everyone's heart. He has a super soul. So if you can see that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna, regardless of wherever he is. He's Krishna conscious, he's not conscious, he's a devotee, he's not a devotee, he's a human being. He is also part and parcel of Krishna. He's part and parcel of the Lord. So a true Krishna conscious person who is a yogi, he will see this. And this is possible because a true yogi knows that everything we see is Krishna. It is Krishna because it is Krishna's energy. Krishna's energy is not separate from Krishna. So if, like I was going to say before, like a child, so whatever is done in Krishna is unknowingly will have its effect. How? Like if a flame contains both heat and illumination, two energies. Neither the heat nor the illumination is separate from the fire, from the flame. Therefore, in one sense, heat is fire and illumination is fire. But they can be distinguished. Similarly, the material energy is also Krishna. And although we may think we are sitting, like say now here on the floor, but this is also Krishna because this is also Krishna's energy. Right? So many ways, so many, like how you can see Krishna everywhere. So therefore, it is stated, the self-realized man sees me everywhere. Seeing Krishna everywhere means seeing everything, every living being, as well as everything else in relationship to Krishna. Yeah? So this is Krishna. If you can see everything in relationship to Krishna, this is Krishna consciousness. Whatever you do, Krishna said, whatever you do and whatever you offer, if you do it as an offering to me. So everything can be dovetailed to Krishna. And if you do that, then there is no karma. Like Arjuna was asked on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to fight. He didn't want, but Krishna said, no, you have to do it. So he did it for Krishna. And he didn't incur any sin. He was thinking, his idea, he was saying that, no, if I do this, I will incur sin. What's the good? And he had all the logic. Everything was okay, what he was saying. But Krishna says, no, if you do it for me, then there is no sin. So if you do everything in relation to Krishna, then it's okay. That's Krishna consciousness. Like today, like Pratik and all these students, they are going to the university. Right? You are spending so much time, so much energy, so many years. And perhaps you'll say, I don't have time to chant. I am coming here and you are telling me, Prabhu, you have to chant. You have to do devotional service. You have to use all your time. But if you spend all these years, all these studies, why? You're thinking, tomorrow I might get a job, okay? I might have money, I might have it. If you do only that, to enjoy your senses, then you'll have to, for every action you do, there will be a recognition to pay for this. But if you think, if the student thinks that, yes, I have, because tomorrow I'm studying, I get a degree, I might get a job, I might get some money, I might marry, I get children, and I will ask them to become Krishna conscious to serve. So, the whole purpose of what you are doing is to engage everything in Krishna's service. So that is all right. So that, in that mood you should study. And that becomes a service to Krishna. Because you are thinking tomorrow that whatever I will get, I will serve Krishna. So when you are doing a service to Krishna, this is for the students I'm talking. So when you are serving Krishna, how you should do the service? You should do it properly, and it should be a very high standard because it is Krishna. So if you are studying, you should aim very high because you are doing it for Krishna. Think that way. And that's you have to achieve. Because Krishna he doesn't want like very light, easy things. He's a supreme personality. He's the highest. So you should aim high. So means that you have to study very hard for Krishna. And then when you get that result, the fruit of what you have done, if you offer it to Krishna, then that's Krishna consciousness. That's what Krishna says. You offer the fruit. If you can't, you offer the fruit to me. Or whatever your hard labor and the fruit is your achievement, you offer it to Krishna. So that's how you engage your future life. You become devotee. And we have an example here. But there are so many examples, isn't it? No, but if sincerely you want to, the goal is to go to Krishna. That's a goal. Okay? And also how we can see Krishna everywhere, how we can perceive. And in chapter 7, verse 8, many of you know that he said, O son of Kunti, Krishna says, O son of Kunti, I am taste of water, the light of the sun, and the moon, and the syllable Om, and the Vedic in the Vedic mantra. I am the sound in ether, and the ability in man. Right? So this is also how you can see Krishna everywhere. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7:8, yeah, Prabhasmi sasi suryayo pranava sarva videsu sabdakhe purusam nisu. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun. So the daylight, this is Krishna. When night comes, that is also Krishna, because in the night you can see the moon. So, where is this? So you will always remember Krishna, this is the way. Because Krishna says at the end, you become my devotee, you always remember me, and that's how you come to me. Isn't it? The goal is to go to Krishna. Why? Because you don't want to stay in this material world which is full of miseries. Coronavirus. Oh my God. This is a fear. You're always fearful, isn't it? However, you are living here or whatever, everyone in the world at the moment, they're thinking, some countries say, no, you don't come. Then aeroplane landed, or they say, where are you coming from? Italy. Only those people, those from Italy, you go back. It makes sense. So it's fear. So this world, which is composed of three modes of material nature, is always full of miseries. So you have to transcend. That's why he says to transcend the mode of goodness. So these true yogis, they transcend. They think about Krishna always. And this is talking about yoga. It's called right. So I think it's already time. But I'd like to just for one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost. Nor is he lost to me. This is 6:30. So this is very important. So just always see Krishna everywhere, and then you're not lost to him. Because if you're lost, then if we are not lost to Krishna, where we can go? In the 9th chapter of Juna says also, don't lose sight of Krishna. This is the perfection of life. If we can forget everything else, but we should never forget Krishna. So if from this today's talk, if you just can remember that this is the perfection of life, we can forget everything else, but we should never forget Krishna. If we can remember Krishna, we are the richest of men, even though people may see us very poor. Okay? So this will be my last, because time is after. I had many things, because the richest of men, and we could go and speak about the 6 Goswami. They were very highly elevated and very rich ministers, magistrates. In their time, they were but what did they do? They gave up everything, and they had just a loincloth. And people were saying, oh, they are fools. But no, they were the richest because they could remember Krishna everywhere. They were in such transcendental bliss. They were just like diving in that sort of bliss and coming out. And that was what was that bliss? Is that the love of the gopis of Krishna. They knew that relationship of the gopi with Krishna, and they could just taste that bliss. So they were the richest people. So yeah. So I will end up like that. A Krishna conscious person is certainly, he sees Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Okay? And he doesn't see anything separate from Krishna. So yeah. So I would just like to end up here, and if you have got any questions or any comments or anything that you could add or say about it. So if I missed anything, please excuse me. And thank you very much for your kind attention and be patient with me.